3 ESPN.
Because if you weren't a sports fan, you wouldn't be listening.
WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City, a town square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios. Here's Josh Hennig.
Josh Hennig back in the usual game night slot on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Got a bunch of things to get to this hour. Don't forget, we got Thursday football tonight. Seahawks and 49ers. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN FM. We didn't have a Weinberg Wednesday yesterday, so we have moved it to Thursday. Dave Weinberg will join us this week tonight to talk about the Eagles and more coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. And as always, you can join the conversation at 609-403-0973 on the text board. And you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Couple things to get to before we get too far along. First of all, I hope everyone's staying safe out there. I've been inside most of the day, and the rain sounds treacherous. Complete mess. So I hope everyone is staying safe out there because this is insane watching it out the window here in the studio. I want to get you the Eagles injury report because there's really only one significant name on the injury report. You know, this time of year, you're always watching these things closely because you learn a lot about how guys are trending. And there was only one guy that didn't practice at all. And all the guys who were limited, almost all of them are rest, except for Sean Bradley. Everyone else had a rest designation on them. So I'm going to assume that the Eagles are doing pretty good right now. And if Dallas Goedert keeps trending in the direction he's going in, he will play this Sunday as well in Chicago. But the name to keep an eye on is Reed Blankenship. And I told you guys this the other day on the Sports Bash when I was filling in for Mike Gill. You can get away one more week without having the necessary guys at stake. You can get away with one more week of this. But beyond this week, you got to get someone on the field for the Dallas game. Jeff Mosher was telling us yesterday on Football at 4 from the Inside the Birds podcast and InsideTheBirds.com. He was explaining that the Eagles may very likely will look to Josiah Scott to be the primary safety next to Epps, in large part because of the fact that Josiah Scott fits the scheme and is able to do something specific that Anthony Harris and Kayvon Wallace are not very good at, which is be in hot pursuit. I don't think it's a coincidence that we saw the back of Kayvon Wallace's jersey a lot in the second half of that Eagles win over the Giants. I saw that name a lot. Wallace. Bold type on the back of the jersey. And I got to be upfront with you guys. I think that if I had to see Kayvon Wallace on the field any of the next couple weeks, I think the Eagles are going to be in a lot of trouble. So if Josiah Scott is the answer, if Anthony Harris is the answer, so be it. Personally, I wouldn't play Reed Blankenship even if he was semi-healthy. I hope the Eagles rule him out. Give him an entire week to get better. Let him heal up because you might need him in the Cowboys game because remember, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, we don't know when he's coming back. We don't have an exact timetable of his availability. There's a strong possibility that he is the kind of person who they might turn to him and be like, look, man, those last 2 weeks of the season, the Saints and the Giants, we don't really need you out there. So they could always turn around and say, we're just going to wait till the postseason. It wouldn't surprise you one bit. It wouldn't surprise you one bit if they just waited for the playoffs. So what I would personally do is, if I were the Eagles, I would try to get Blankenship ready for Dallas. Put the best scheme I can together against the high-powered Cowboys offense, and then hit cruise control for the rest of the year. Because if you win this week and you'll win next week, you'll lock up the division. You'll probably lock up the number 1 overall seed. And then it's cruise control, because you should be able to easily beat the Saints. And then the last game of the season hopefully doesn't mean much at all at this point. Because, again, when you look at the standings tell you that the Eagles are in position, pole position, be the number 1 seed. If they win the next 2 weeks, that means they're 14-1. And even if they lose their last 2 games, the only team that could catch you record-wise is the Vikings. And you already own a tiebreaker over them. Beating the Cowboys next week is just as much about the division as it is number 1 overall seed. So lock and load for this week. Get everybody ready for next week. Get the job done. Finish the job against the Saints so everyone can go on to 2023 happy. And then the Giants game can just be, well, whatever you want to do with it, really. And we can cross that bridge when we get there. You can give me your thoughts over on the text board at 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. I want to hit on the Sixers for a moment as well, because it's looking more and more like they're going to win their game tomorrow night. Steph Curry is going to be out for, it looks like, the next 10 days, potentially 2 weeks or 3 weeks. He'll be out with a shoulder injury that it doesn't look like it's going to need surgery, but it does look like that he's going to have to get some extensive rest with that knee. So, I'm sorry, with the shoulder. Shoulder is, why is I saying that Breed Blankenship is the knee? Steph Curry is the shoulder. Man, this is what I get for not having enough caffeine today. I completely missed my usual window for getting myself tea earlier in the day for a variety of reasons. So I'm a little, I'm usually caffeinated up pretty good by this time of the day, but I digress. We're going to soldier through here. So Steph Curry is going to miss the next few weeks with a shoulder issue that he sustained in the game last night. And it looks like the Sixers, I should say, are going to win tomorrow night. Well, the story of the day is what Joel Embiid said to Jake Fisher. Now, Jake Fisher covers the NBA. He's been a guest on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill multiple times. Covers the NBA now for Yahoo Sports. And he had a one-on-one with Joel Embiid. And Joel Embiid made the comment that he thinks Sixer fans want him to be traded. And, Jake Fisher gave a little pushback to be like, come on, you got to be joking, right? And Joel Embiid said no. Now, the rest of the interview is pretty, I don't even know what to do at that point after you read that. And I got to tell you guys, I think it's the catch-22 Joel Embiid just put himself, the organization, and every Sixer fan in. Because on one hand, Joel Embiid may just certainly be trolling everybody and may just be, playing around with everyone's heads, and that might be it. But there's also a possibility that he could be serious, that he thinks that there are people out there who want to trade him. This is a huge problem because from the majority of Sixer fans, the whole process, the best thing that came out of the tanking and the draft picks and the draft trades and everything else, the only man left standing is Joel Embiid. If at some point you have to move on from Embiid, then what you're basically saying is that entire run feels hollow. I'm not going to say it was a waste because, one, NBA teams frequently go through rebuilds and fail and have to hit the reset button. That's nothing new, okay? Two, it feels hollow because the whole idea of going through all of that losing, all the trading, all those draft picks, making all those moves, doing all the things that were done were to put yourself in the position to potentially win a championship. It obviously doesn't guarantee that you win a championship, but the idea being is that if you lose games, you get good draft picks, and then you turn around and you're not even competitive. That's a problem. I think it's very fair to look at Joel Embiid and maybe just have some questions about why he thought it was okay to say that. Does he feel so comfortable in his place in the franchise that he thinks he can joke around like that? Or has he had such a negative experience with the fan base that he's just not happy moving forward? I don't know if we're ever going to get the straight answer. Because the problem in Philadelphia right now is that 2 of the 4 teams look like they're going to be contenders perennially for years to come. The Eagles and the Phillies. When the Phillies were great, the Eagles were good, the Sixers were uninteresting, and the Flyers were like Jekyll and Hyde. Back in from 07 to 2010, basically. We'll go with that range. Well, now it's almost repeating history. The Flyers are a dumpster fire. The Sixers are turning into being something people are indifferent about. And the Eagles are the best team in the NFL, arguably, and the Phillies were in the World Series. And they lost in 6 games to the best team in baseball. So, for me, I think the Joel Embiid comments is concerning, and probably more people would be freaking out about it if you weren't in the middle of Eagles season, if the Phillies didn't sign Trey Turner, and if the Sixers weren't on a winning streak. Josh Hennig here on Game Night 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. I'll get to you my picks for Thursday Night Football a little bit later in the hour. But coming up next, it's Weinberg Wednesday on a Thursday. 97.3 ESPN.com Extra Point Sports columnist Dave Weinberg joins me next here on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday in Chicago against the Bears.
Takes the snap. He's back. Here comes the rush. They've got him again. They've got him.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games in Ocean Casino Resort this football season. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the gallery. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. That's why MVP's Pro Rewards members can earn bonus points on select products and brands like Power Pro, Weehaw, and Valspar. Then redeem your bonus points for exciting rewards like tools, sports memorabilia, Lowe's e-gift cards, and more. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards today to start earning. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Subject to program terms. While supplies last. Points expire at end of calendar year. Visit Lowe's.com/L/ProLoads for terms and details. Now through 1/8/23.
Dell's Days of Deals start now with fresh, limited quantity deals each day on tech to power every passion. Save on select XPS laptops and Alienware PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget, special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Just call 877-ASK-DELL for Days of Deals savings. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Oh yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
Looking for some holiday cash? Then don't miss Matt Blatt Nissan's holiday vehicle buyback. It doesn't matter what you drive. AJ, the trade man, wants to buy your vehicle today. Regardless of the make, miles, condition, or situation, AJ will buy your ride for cash today. So treat yourself to a brand new Nissan Rogue. 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest on every new Matt Blatt Nissan Rogue. That's a brand new Nissan with 0% financing for 36 months, 0 payments for 45 days, and 0 money down. And AJ says you'll get more cash than you think and drive away with peace of mind, because only Matt Blatt Nissan has a 4-day love it or leave it return policy. MattBlattNissan.com. Rate qualifications exist with approved credit. $27.78 per thousand financed. Negative equity will be refinanced into new vehicle. Rate qualifications exist. Not all will qualify. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 12/31/2022. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
This holiday ad will be over in 27 seconds. Unlike the new Duracell battery with Power Boost ingredients that can last 19,976 seconds in your kid's RC motorcycle, or 6,801 seconds on your beard trimmer for this year's family photo, or 15,172 seconds on your electric frother for some holiday eggnog, and many more seconds to get more out of your holiday season. Duracell, unlike this ad, engineered for more.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
At the Home Depot, we have the tools for you to give the gift of a smarter home with savings on top brands, like the Google Hub, a command center for your smart devices that raises the IQ of your entire home, or the Nest Learning Thermostat that helps you conserve energy and save on your bill. And if you don't know what to get, gift cards are a smart gift no matter what they get. So this year, gift smarter with savings on tools to make your holiday magic. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot, but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Of course, Game Night being brought to you by Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, or the plumbing guy, because J technicians are trained to do it all. For new heating and air installation, service, and maintenance, ductless air conditioning systems, water heaters, leaks, whatever you need, Jenkins got you covered. 609-641-6262, and online at jenkinsandsons.com. 4 games left in the Eagles season. A season, and most times we would say unlike any other, except the man I talk to next has seen seasons like this before. Dave Weinberg has covered the Eagles for over 26 years. He's seen a lot of different variations of the Eagles over the years, and during his time covering the Eagles, he covered multiple Super Bowl runs. So we bring him in for a day late Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, I love the shirt you got on. It says "Life is good." How you doing, my friend?
Doing well, Josh. Thanks. Yeah, trying to get in the spirit of the season a little bit there with a Santa hat on with the golfer.
Yeah, love it. It definitely suits you. So,
thank you.
So, Dave, I mentioned before, just as you coming on, you have seen other versions of the Eagles make a run like this, right? Have a great season. They start building up these expectations, right? So, for you, what are the similarities and differences for you in your perspective on it?
Well, this is a different season, really. I mean, I never covered a team that only had one loss this late in the season before. But, I covered some teams that were pretty good. Obviously, the 2004 team sticks out, but they had, that was in part of a pretty incredible run from 2001 to 2004, where they were in, NFC championship games every year. Didn't get it done until the 04 season to get to the Super Bowl. So, and 17 was that was a lot different than this one. Like you said, with Wentz getting hurt, and nobody was sure what to expect out of Nick Foles. Although I do remember like kind of preaching patience with fans that Nick was going to be just fine and the Eagles were going to be just fine with him. So, and that turned out to be the case. But yeah, this is a really unique season, a really special season. It's going to be interesting to see if they can keep it going.
Well, I think it's an interesting part, because you brought up Nick Foles, is the fact that, there were people who were doubting Nick Foles the moment he got the job, right? The moment Wentz went down and Foles came in, people were like, oh, no, the season's over, right? Well, we got to have the opposite thing happen this year. There were people who didn't believe in Jalen Hurts heading into the season, and now a lot of those people have been proven wrong. So I guess it's a Philadelphia thing, right? Nobody believes in the quarterback. It's like they say, nobody likes us and we don't care.
Yeah, including the players, I guess, and the fans, their own fans. It's they try to like feed off that underdog mentality. I mean, and it works for them, even if it's not true on a lot of cases. But yeah, I mean, but you and I, as we've often discussed, we were pretty much behind Jalen from the get-go. We both thought that he was going to. No one thought he was going to turn out to be this good, I don't think. But I mean, I was fairly confident that he'd be able to secure his job as as the franchise quarterback moving forward, and he's done that and more.
Well, that's the thing. You and I believed in him as a franchise quarterback, but nobody thought he would be potentially the league MVP. I mean, talk about. No. I mean, those are two completely different tiers, and it's amazing that even guys like Micah Parsons of the Cowboys are sitting there trying to doubt what Jalen has done. And it's like, what I think the problem is, Dave, ultimately, I heard, and I'm stealing this thought from somebody else. Dan Graziano was on TV this morning. He brought up a great point. Okay. People hold guys' draft positions against them, no matter what they do, unless they win a championship. The whole attitude is, so-and-so was not the first overall pick or wasn't the first quarterback, so we're going to eternally hold it against him.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. I mean, there was, McNabb was the number 2 quarterback taken, but I don't think it was held against him that the Browns took Tim Couch first. I mean, maybe being a second round pick, it probably put a little bit of a chip on Jalen's shoulder, but I don't know that people. I mean, I don't even people remember or even really care where he was drafted as long as he gets the job done. I don't know if there's that kind of bias. Maybe there is nationwide. But I never felt that way. I don't care where the guy was picked. I mean, Kelsey was a 6th round pick, I think.
Yeah, but I think you're saying that, Dave, I think because you've seen plenty of situations, like you just said, Jason Kelsey, of guys who weren't picked in the first round. You got to realize there's a lot of irrational people out there.
Yeah, well, Kurt Warner wasn't drafted at all, right?
Not at all. Neither was
and,
Tony Romo, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, maybe people kind of like, maybe you're held to like a different standard, I guess, if you're not a first round pick. I don't know that maybe people aren't expecting as much, but I mean, Jalen has more than proven himself, and I don't know why people would care whether he was a second, first, third, 10th, or whatever free agent. I don't think that matters. It's what you do when you're there, when you have the opportunity.
Well, that's the working theory. I just think there's a perception sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
There
the
could
situation.
be. There could be.
Like the whole thing with the Jets right now. Zach Wilson was a second overall pick. Mike White was the 5th round pick, basically. People are, people were literally mad that the Jets brought in Flacco last week because Zach Wilson wasn't even active. And I'm like, you realize there's a reason why Flacco is active and Zach Wilson's not, right? Like, I don't care that Zach Wilson was the second overall pick. Either you can play or you can't. And right now, I think that the Jets are better off with Mike White at quarterback.
Right. I mean, and Brock Purdy with the 49ers. What was he, Mr. Irrelevant, so-called? I mean,
yes, he was.
I guess people probably get the benefit of the doubt more when they're first-round picks. They get more opportunities to fail, but you really can't. Once it ultimately comes down to getting the job done and winning football games, and as long as you can do that, then people should get off your back.
Dave Weinberg joining us here on GameNight, 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, at Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter. Extra point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Is there anything more crazy, Dave, than the fact that the Eagles backdoored their way into a better punter? Siposs gets injured, and now they got a former All-Pro Brett Kern in the house.
Yeah, that's just proof of, things are breaking right for them. That, whenever somebody goes down and they have somebody that steps up them, like you said, might even be better than Siposs. Oh, he's got to be better than Siposs. I don't think he was having a very good year. But yeah, Kern is definitely has the pedigree to really come through for them. And that's like I said, it's just they just seem to be charmed almost in the fact that, when somebody goes down, they can find a way to find someone to plug the hole, kind of like the 2017 team, I guess.
I mean, the last time the Eagles had a not young punter, because I don't know what it was this team for a while. They kept getting the young, inexpensive guy. But the last time they had an older punter, I believe, was Sean Landeta.
How old was Donnie Jones? He was kind of up there, I think, maybe the 2017 punter.
Might double check. I mean, maybe he was older by the time that came around, but I remember when they first got him, he was younger. So
maybe. I don't know. Donnie had been around for a little while, I think, before the Eagles got him. But yeah, I see your point, though. Yeah, they tend to.
The Eagles got him at 33, and in 2017 it was 37. So, all right. So then before Donnie Jones,
then Sean Demdetta. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. Well, my thing was that Kern's got this like resume. You know what I mean? And it's like the only reason why he was on the street was basically because the Titans didn't want to pay him anymore, and they got a cheaper option down in Tennessee.
Right.
I mean, that kid's leg probably could kick a ball through a roof of a stadium, for goodness sake. So it's like that's the only reason why Kern was on the street.
Yeah, it seems like punter, place kicker. A lot of times teams are always looking for a younger, cheaper option who might be just as good, if not better. And the Titans were able to find that. When you're a place kicker, though, you're always as good. You're only as good as your last game. Punters tend to maybe get a little bit more leeway, but that's kind of like a what have you done for me lately kind of position. Punter, place kicker, those guys. Yep.
By the way, I did not know that Donnie Jones was a second team All-Pro back in 2008, 2009. So I guess his resume isn't as bad as I thought it was.
He was one of my favorite guys to cover. Really down to earth, funny, and really good, but creative. I remember being at the Super Bowl media day, and he was kind of teamed up with Rick Lovato, who had just gotten the job as a long snapper.
Yeah,
Lovato was snapping hoagies through his legs because his family owned a deli in Monmouth County, I think it was. So yeah, Donnie's a really good guy, and like I said, one of my favorite guys to cover on that team.
I just feel bad for shortchanging him. I didn't realize when he was in St. Louis.
That's all right.
He actually led the league in 2008 in yards per punt. with 50.
There you go. See?
Now, of course, that was
Yep.
about 10 years before they won the Super Bowl, but still, I shortchanged his resume. It's a bad job by me.
That's all right. You're probably not up on your punters, and that's certainly understandable.
See, Dave, unlike some people, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. So
there you go. Yep, very good. Too few of you around, that's for sure.
Well, don't we know? Look at the sports media business as a whole, right?
Man.
We know this game this week, the Eagles are gonna win, right? We're not sweating the Bears. The Bears are the worst defense in the NFL. But what interests you about the game? Is it the return of Dallas Goedert? Is it seeing what the Eagles do at safety without Blankenship out there? Like, what interests you about the Eagles-Bears game?
Just the fact that they have to, theoretically, Bears shouldn't even be in the game. But you got Cowboys next week, and like it or not, there might be some sort of letdown, some sort of looking ahead. I still don't think that's enough to make the Bears be able to even keep it close. But who'd have thought the Texans would have come so close to beating the Cowboys last week? So, I mean, I'm interested in see how Goddard works his way back in. I don't know if that I'd play him a whole lot since they've been doing so well without him. Why not? Why? There's no need to rush him back until you absolutely have to. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they do with safety too. I don't think, as I think I've heard you say earlier in the week, I don't think Kevon Wallace is the answer back there. So they better come up with
no, he's not.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because when he was picked, everybody was like raving about him. And
I was one of them. Dave, I saw him at Clemson. He was a part of a top 5 defense for 2 straight years. He was a playmaker on that back end. And he gets to Philadelphia and he can't make any plays. I see the back of his jersey chasing third-string tight ends down the field.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising because, like you said, he played for Clemson, which he's used to facing top receivers every week and their top offenses, and you'd think he'd be used to that, but I guess it just goes to prove what a big jump it is from the NFL, from college to the NFL, regardless of where you played your college ball at.
Yeah, it just, it just goes to prove that, talent evaluation is an inexact science, right? Because,
oh, sure, absolutely.
Reed Blankenship, nobody knew who he was, and he came in here and he has outperformed all kinds of people. I mean, the reason Anthony Harris wasn't on this roster was because Blankenship took his roster spot, for goodness sake.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how they work that in this week. Does Harris get promoted from the practice squad or what they do there?
So my working theory is this, not that I'm right, but I'm just gathering of information. My working theory is that I think what's going to happen is that Harris will be one of the call-ups from the practice squad. Along with Brett Kern. I think they'll keep Kern on the practice squad so they can use the roster spot for Goddard. And then what they'll do is they'll probably use Harris and Josiah Scott at safety and just, cross their fingers and hope they don't have to put Wallace in there.
Yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah. And they really don't have too much to worry about. I guess, Fields isn't the best passer in the world. That's for sure. You only have to worry about him as a runner.
Well, the thing with Fields is that the Bears' offensive line might also be the worst in football. Like, they might have the worst defense and the worst offensive line simultaneously, which I think is actually an accomplishment in and of itself. So the thing with Fields is that he almost never has time to throw the ball, but he's had these moments like against the Cowboys where you give him like this much of like a small window to make a play, and he throws a bomb to like Darnell Mooney. Is like, how did he get open? So I think for the Eagles, as long as they stay disciplined, I think that's one of the biggest keys to this game. Don't let the off timing plays bite you in the rear.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yep. I'm with you there. They did a pretty good job against the Giants in that regard. So hopefully they can keep it going this week.
Speaking of the Giants, how surprised were you of how bad the Giants looked?
Shocked. I mean, I knew they were decimated by injuries and missing their top 4 wide receivers, their top 2 corners. Their offensive line was a mess. And but yeah, I kind of thought that they'd be able to hang with the Eagles at least, and not beat them, but at least keep it close. But yeah, but that was just a train wreck by all angles. I mean, and even Saquon wasn't himself. I mean, it was just it was really bad. I was surprised.
I mean, I knew, Dave, that the Giants had some injuries on the O-line. Like, I knew that going into the game, but it was almost like the Giants didn't. This sounds ridiculous, but watching the game, I was almost wondering, do the Giants realize how good the Eagles are? You know what I mean? It was almost like the Giants didn't prepare well enough for what was coming.
Yeah, it certainly seemed that way. It was really strange.
Dave, before I let you go, I want to ask you, now this time of year, everyone's getting ready for the holidays and for Christmas and all that stuff. You know, now you're a father and a grandfather, so I know this time of year. So, you know, for you, you know, how are you working in the watching of sports around all the other holiday festive activities?
It's tough sometimes. It is, especially with I have 3 grandsons now, so you know Santa's coming, and we got to get ready for that. And you know, you have to balance, you know, getting them toys with hiding them so they can't find them. But now they're getting older, so they know where to look. And it's we finally got a Christmas tree yesterday. Cost us like $80, which is ridiculous, but it's better than I've heard some people paying upwards of like $200 for a tree. And I want to get a fake one. I keep trying to tell my
200.
So yeah. My son and his daughter.
It's the tree made of gold.
Yeah, really. You know,
I mean, come on.
They wound up getting an artificial tree because they just couldn't see. You know, it was like $199. Yep, or $249. That's ridiculous. It better have, like you said, it better have needles made of gold, for crying out loud, for that kind of price.
I mean, that tree better be like an endangered species or something. I mean, what on earth?
Yeah, I thought $80 was ridiculous, but you know, it's just, you know, spirit of the season. You got to get one. Hopefully, like June and July, when the artificial ones are really on deep sales, maybe hopefully I can talk her into it.
Well, it's kind of like, you know, I look at, all right, so I'll share an example with you. So, you know, I've been hunting because it's the time of year that you get like the holiday cookie tins, right? You know, the classic tin has got the nice little picture on the top, and that, you know, you get it.
Yeah.
Well, I was having trouble finding it for a while because it's like so many places just like weren't stocking it, or they were stocking like the tiniest versions of them, right? And you know, the one tin I got, apparently the cookies were straight like trash. Like they didn't even taste like cookies. They were just kind of like, you know, like sugary dough things. They weren't even real cookies, right? So, you know, but then I realized the other day when I was getting, like, I found another one. Oh, it's a nicer picture. Looks like a nicer cookie in there, right? I didn't realize that the cookie tin was $14. And I was like, all right, so now this is like the 3rd or 4th or 5th or 6th one of these things I've gotten, you know. So now I'm looking at the cost of all these things, and I'm like, man, I'm really playing the holiday surcharge here, man.
Yeah, that's true.
See, what needs to happen is some local bakery needs to make their own cookies and tin them themselves, and I would be likely to buy that. But the problem is that, you know, I don't know.
Well, my wife makes our cookies, but she makes entirely too many. But yeah, she's got tins saved up from like 1975, for crying out loud. That's ridiculous.
I mean, look, at least she saved them. I mean, my mom saves them and she uses them for like different things over the years, you know. So.
Yeah, storing stuff. Yeah.
So I get that, you know, but like, you don't want to be the person who's like, hey, Mom, can I empty your tin of stuff so I can put cookies in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that conversation might not go so well. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
Dave Weinberg at Dave Weinberg 19 on Twitter. Extra Point columns over at 97.3 ESPN.com. It's always fun to read his what your spot from the couch was like watching the Eagles game each week. You know, it's always interesting to get a little insight on the Dave Weinberg Sunday afternoon. You know, especially this time of year with the holidays. So
Yep. Try to inject a little laughter into it.
I mean, I can always predict what it is in like September because it'll be something like, hey, I went for a bike ride and I came back after 20 miles, or I went and shot, 18 holes in the morning and I got back just in time for the Eagles game.
Yeah.
But once we get into the colder weather, it becomes more like playing roulette. Let's see what Dave Weinberg was doing on Sunday.
Got to be a little more creative. Yep.
Dave, appreciate you jumping on a day late. We'll catch up next week.
Anytime, Josh. Thanks for having me as always. I appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle. Yeah, I will admit, I can admit two mistakes today. Number one, I didn't realize Donnie Jones's resume was as stacked as it was. And number two, I didn't realize I would have so much trouble finding holiday Christmas cookie tins, and I didn't realize how expensive it was over time until I started seeing the cost rise up on the bill and realize, I've really spent a lot of money on these cookies, and some of these cookies are lousy. It just goes to show you're always better off making things at home than buying things in the store of things you could buy at home. But man, let me tell you something. Those pictures and designs on those tins are pretty nice, some of them. I got to give those artists credit, and I got to give those holiday cookie Christmas people, whoever makes those things, credit. I mean, they put some really nice designs on those things, and it really entices you to buy them. You see a picture of a cardinal with snow around them, or you see a picture of a bunch of kids on a snowball fight in a village, or you see a picture of a dog with a Santa hat on, and it just kind of suckers you in to buy them, All right, coming up next, I'll get you my thoughts on Thursday Night Football and more. Josh Hennig hanging out with you here in the 97.3 ESPN studio. Game Night being brought to you by Jenkins & Sons. Call Jenkins 609-641-6262. One call does it all. Be like 97.3 ESPN and be comfortable with Jenkins. We need to make our studio comfortable. That's who we called. 609-641-6262. Online at jenkinsandsons.com.
Kevin Kugler here from Westwood One. Coming up on Thursday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks host the 49ers. Last week, Brock Purdy, replacing the injured Jimmy G, led San Francisco to a dominating win over the Bucs in his first ever NFL start. Now they can solidify control of the NFC West and pick up a 7th straight win. Join me and Ryan Harris for the call on Thursday Night Football.
Listen to Thursday Night Football on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7:30.
I'm back. This is James, owner of Car Toys. Come celebrate our 29th year here at Car Toys, the only shop offering buy one, get one. Remote car start, heated seat, window tint, detailing. It's all buy one, get one free. 29% off ceramic pro treatment, 29% off labor sale, $288 gift card for $188, $888 for $688, 10 hour of MacGyver value at $1,500 for $888. Install any step bar, folder cover, or radio for $88.88. Free installation on any speaker purchase. Stop the clock at $888 was a hit, so let's ride it to Christmas. All you have to do is press the button, stop the clock at $888. It's Merry Christmas from me to you. Car Toys have something for everyone. We even sell cars and trucks with over 80 unique vehicles and work van in stock. Buy, sell, trade, build, wrap, finance. We do it all. Have Car Toys build you that badass lifted truck, Jeep, custom work van you always wanted. Look for our ad every Sunday in a press of AC. Shop online. Check us out at distinctivecartoys.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Come in and take advantage of me. Stop the clock at 888. It's only at Car Toys, 2800 Fire Road EXT. You can't miss it. It's all lit up. All you have to do is stop the clock at 888. Try not to choke. From our family to yours, we wish everyone a safe and a happy holiday. Car Toys. I'll see you there.
I wanted to know why some people who get COVID-19 get it so bad. I found out it may be because they have a high risk factor, such as heart disease, diabetes, being overweight, smoking, and asthma. Even if symptoms feel mild, these factors can increase your risk of COVID-19 turning severe. So if you're at high risk and test positive, there are things you can do, like asking your healthcare provider if an authorized oral treatment is right for you. Learn about an option at treatcovid19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
Dell Technologies' Days of Deals for Business start now with fresh, limited quantity deals on tech to drive productivity. Save on select performance laptops and desktops powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything, and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
I know a lot of you really want the State Farm personal price plan, but what's with the oversharing? Like this message Brian left me.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. I love the smell of my cat's breath. Yeah.
You don't need to get that personal. The State Farm personal price plan helps you create an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
At the Home Depot, we have the tools for you to give the gift of a smarter home with savings on top brands, like the Google Hub, a command center for your smart devices that raises the IQ of your entire home, or the Nest Learning Thermostat that helps you conserve energy and save on your bill. And if you don't know what to get, gift cards are a smart gift no matter what they get. So this year, gift smarter with savings on tools to make your holiday magic. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. Looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Did you know Nissan EVs have traveled 8 billion miles? Just a quick trip to Pluto and back. And what did we learn along the way? Well, that an EV can take on the world, like the Nissan Leaf. It can move racing forward and take your breath away, like the all-new Nissan Ariya. We learned to make EVs that electrify. 8 billion miles driven by Leaf owners globally since 2010. Ariya not yet available for purchase. Expected availability late fall, subject to change.
East Coast Roofing and Siding, protecting what you love and own. East Coast Roofing and Siding.
Hi, New Jersey. This is Larry Styler, founder of East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows, your local exterior contractor for over 40 years. Your home projects can't always wait for the weather to get warmer. Here at East Coast Roofing, Siding, and Windows, we work hard year-round to ensure you and your family are safe and secure when the unpredictable weather of New Jersey hits. Don't worry about our team. We have Long Johns and we'll wear them. Don't suffer. Trust us with your family and home this winter. Schedule your free consultation today by calling 609-262-2004. That's 609-262-2004. Or visit us at eastcoastroofing.com. And remember, if you call, we'll show up.
East Coast Roofing and Siding. Trust us with your family and home.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig wrapping up the hour here on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Thursday football is tonight, beginning at 7:30 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN. Here, Flyers over on our sister station, Rock 104.1 tonight. You know, for a lot of people, maybe you watch the Flyers to get your night started, and then you switch it over to the NFL game, depending on how the game goes for the Fly guys tonight. Jeff in Ocean City texted in earlier into the show a couple things. One, he thinks that the Eagles will go 3-1 down the stretch. The one loss will be losing to Dallas. They'll need to beat the Giants in Week 18. Well, for argument's sake, I mean, that would be more exciting and interesting if that happened, Jeff in Ocean City. I think that'd be not ideal for the Eagles, but I think that for people like myself who love watching good and competitive football, I think it'd be more interesting to see the Eagles in maybe not a must win, but a need to win down the stretch. I think it'd be more interesting. Jeff in Ocean City also wants to know, what is my play in Thursday football tonight? You know, I got two thoughts on the game tonight. Number one, I don't think we realize how good San Francisco's defense is. I mentioned this the other day when I was filling in for Mike Gill on the Sports Bash. You know, San Francisco is the only team in the NFL who has not allowed at least 200 points total this year. That's right. They're the only team. And they're going against the Seattle team that only scored 24 against Carolina, scored 27 against the Rams, and 2 weeks before that, only scored 16 against Tampa. This offense has not been as high-powered as it previously was. Meanwhile, the 49ers, here are their last several games. 7 points allowed to Tampa, 17 to Miami, 0 to New Orleans, 10 at Arizona, and 16 to the Chargers. My favorite number tonight, if you're someone who is going to go out there and place a wager, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. These are recommendations, not guarantees. There is no lock of the week going on here. I would really like the Seahawks under 20.5. Because I just feel like the San Francisco defense is playing at such a high level right now. I just don't see how the Seahawks score more than 20 points tonight. Unless there's some major catastrophic injuries I don't know about that could happen. But I just think that tonight is one of those games where you have a team that realistically is going to have trouble scoring. By the way, for you fantasy football players, your inactives tonight includes Deebo Samuel. So no Deebo tonight. Which is also the reason why I'm a little hesitant on the over-under. 43.5 feels like you're playing with fire a little bit. Because Seattle's defense has not been horrible, but their defense has not been great either. They just allowed Carolina to score 31 on the week before. The Raiders scored 23. The week before, the Rams scored 23 against them. The week before that, the Raiders scored 40. So I don't think Deebo is going to hurt San Francisco's ability to score tonight. I'm inclined to think that the 49ers win this game pretty handily. But division matchup in Seattle, it's always a little dicey. So if you had to ask me what my favorite number is, my favorite number is the under 20.5 for the Seahawks team total. And I'm personally leaning to the over 43. San Francisco used to be a lock for the unders each week. Well, they have hit the over on the point total 3 of the last 4 games. And the one game they didn't hit the point total on the over, that New Orleans defense is pretty good. And that was the only one that didn't hit the over on. So I tend to think the over is a good play, and I tend to think that the under Seahawks 20.5 is a good play. That's where I'm leaning, at least for Thursday football. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Sixers basketball here on 97.3 ESPN. And tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN, I'll be covering for Mike Gill on the Sports Bash. So no game night tomorrow night. I'll be back on tomorrow from 2 to 6 p.m., leading you in to a busy weekend of football on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, this weekend, Mike Gill will be over at Bob's Garden Center for Guys Night Out from 4 to 6 p.m. So you got all day football on 97.3 ESPN FM following Billy Schwein in the locker room on Saturday. NFL triple header on your radio. And maybe while you're running errands in the car, you swing on by Bob's Garden Center, go get some things that you need for the people you love in your life this Christmas holiday season. And, of course, then Sunday, Eagles football taking on the Bears. Merrill Reese, Mike Quick on the call here on your home for Eagles football in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN. Thanks, Dave Weinberg, for joining me a day late for this week's edition of Weinberg Wednesday. Like I said, I'll be back on tomorrow. No game night tomorrow night. I'll be filling in with Mike Gill on the Sports Bash. Mike will be over at Bob's Garden Center on Saturday. And I'll be back in the Sports Bash seat on Monday.
It's Sixers basketball tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
Final for 3, it's good. Timeout. Warriors! 20,000 plus are on their feet.
The Sixers host the Golden State Warriors. Tomorrow, coverage begins at 7:30. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.